Hi, I'm John Kursky. This is Atlas, and in this video I want to show you how to present test results in a Power BI report using PQL.Assert. Alright, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel to stay up to date on all the new features and announcements we'll have in the coming weeks. And with that, in our series, The AI-Enabled Power BI Tester, we showed you how to use a UDF library called PQL.Assert to build tests for your semantic model. Well, did you know that you can actually set up the tests so that they appear in a report? What's really nice about that is you could show your end users or even your team if any of the tests are failing when the semantic model is refreshed and you open up the semantic model. So let me show you what that looks like. All right, so up on my screen here, I've got the DAX query view. I have a set of tests. You'll notice that I've got one for one of the dimensions, another dimension, and a simple test to make sure that the relationship exists. Well, using a calculated table, I can present this information as a set of union tables or rows that show each test. So what does that look like? Well, if I go to the report view, so I just clicked on this, and I go to our modeling tab, and I click on new table, and we've got our data quality tests. I can actually reference one of the UDFs that we created for our tests. So let's do Marvel Fact Prod Test. All right, so these are the production tests I want to show the end user. So if I hit enter, you can see on the right here, I've got a set of data quality tests that are presented. And if I expand this, it's got the typical test name, past, expected, actual. So I can create a new tab in the report, rename it to data quality tests, and actually then I can test name, expected, actual, and past. And if I expand this, you can see now I've got this outputted as a table. Now I can make this look a lot better if I'm using a theme file, but let's say I want to combine several tests. So what I can do is actually click back on the calculated table and use the union function. Alignment, dim prod tests, hit enter. And I'll show you what that looks like. All I've done is I've unioned those tests together. Now, as long as the schema is the same, which is what PQL.Assert does, the union function will work. Now you can see I've got the alignment test, the Marvel Fact test all together and presented. So I can actually have a tab in my report that somebody can look at that shows the status of all the data quality checks and not necessarily have to run this in the background. I could present it to the end user as transparency. And I can't say I came up with this idea. There's actually an MVP, Andrew B. I'll put a link to his LinkedIn bio in the description, who's actually doing this with his teams. So thanks, Andrew. But hopefully you can try this out today. I will note there is one thing that you cannot do, and this is a limitation with UDFs, and that is, let's say I wanted to list out all the tests instead. So let me go ahead and create a new table here. And if I do PQL.Assert, retrieve tests. So trying to create a calculated table with this. Since it's using an info function, you're going to get this message. So just keep that in mind. If any of the UDFs you are creating have some sort of access to the underlying metadata, the info DAX queries, you're going to get this message. It's going to prevent you from using that as a calculated table. So just keep that in mind. So just have the tests that don't use info functions, which majority of the time they won't use the info functions. Use that instead. All right. So I hope you learned something today. We went over how do you actually take tests and present them to the end user. And again, I'd like to thank Andrew B. for coming up with that concept and really taking transparency and showing test results to the end user from a data quality perspective to the forefront in a Power BI report. And with that, next video, we're going to go over some new features around PQL.Assert that I'm excited to announce around row level security. But until then, thank you for your time.